Interview and job search strategies that work. I know we've talked about on how to find a job and what's a good method. Let me tell you about some methods that probably are not a good idea in some regard to do. And a couple of them are like one that comes to mind is not researching the company I'm interviewing for. So not even knowing who they are, or not even going to like their website. Most companies have websites, or if they have a LinkedIn or a Facebook, and just familiarizing yourself. That's a lot of times what I'll do is I'll talk to recruiters, like a third party, like a tech systems, Aerotech, and I'll ask them, who's the person I'm interviewing with? What's their name? So I can Google them, right? Because I want to know what kind of what can I expect when I talk to them? Are they were they in the military? Were they only is this their only job they've ever had? Are they a college grad? And this is the only job they've ever had. Have they had many jobs? Is it on their LinkedIn? Have they had, and that means a lot because they're able to talk to them in such a way to kind of, figure them out a little bit, right? Because they're trying to figure you out as a potential candidate, but at the same time, you want to know how to talk to them as well. So knowing, second one or another one is when you talk to HR. When you're interviewing with HR, a lot of times it's probably been said, and you probably know it. Their job is to weed you out. Their job is to say, no, this person's not qualified. Basically, that's the function of the HR people. And I know in IT, I don't know how it is for other industries that much, but I know in IT, I'm always talking to the technical manager or the IT operations manager, something like that. I rarely talk to the HR, unless it's after the fact. Another one is only talking about your resume. Oh, you can see my resume, and that's all you talk about. A lot of companies, they want to know you. They really don't want to know everything about your resume, and you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how do I exhibit that? Well, I'll tell you, it's worked for me in the past. By the way, it's currently working for me because that's what I do. What I'll do is I'll put a lot of relevant stuff on my resume, but I don't put a lot, and because I want I want the company to ask me questions so I can open up and I can give them more context and I can talk about my failures in IT, my successes in IT, and plus when I don't have a lot of stuff in my resume, that leads me, I can maybe say in the conversation, yeah, I didn't I have a lot more skills, but I didn't put in my resume. And that leads into another conversation that they probably want to have with you is, oh, well, tell me more about that. Then you kind of gauge their interest in you as a candidate. So another one is um, talking about how I can save the world, right? You know, and probably that's the case, but a lot of times they usually already have people that do that. What they want to hear from you is how can you work with our team currently to make them better? If you say that, oh man, you're golden, really. Because obviously, I don't know if you know this or not, but most people can learn pretty much about anything in IT pretty much in a weekend. They're going to YouTube pretty much. But what they can't learn or what they don't learn is how to talk to other folks. Talk to your colleagues on the team, get them engaged, the personal skills. I call them the soft skills, and that's what other industry people call them as well. Imagine it's almost like you're the floor leader. What do I mean by that? I mean, you're like the number two, the leader, not a manager. The leader is doing things. And, if you know something about, say, NetApp, and your other colleagues don't, and they don't know that, well, if given the opportunity, teach them. Teach your colleagues that. And when you're interviewing, talk about that, actually. Don't do the reverse and say, I don't want to teach anybody. No, no. I mean, you always want to teach people, right? I mean, and even if you don't, tell them you do, because um, that's what they want to hear, right? And if you're the type of person that doesn't teach, you're probably not going to be, or the type of person that holds information in and wants to like doesn't want to share it basically for whatever reason, for fear of like they'll know more than me. Probably IT is not the right for you, not the right fit for you, because newsflash, not everybody in IT. Nobody in IT knows everything. Even the person that's calling themselves like an SME, subject matter expert, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff, they don't know everything. They don't know. It's just a title. Vince Cerf. He's the one that started. Well, he's in history as one of the ones who started the IP protocol. I'm sure he doesn't know everything about all the routing protocols right now. I'm sure, no way. It's too many things to learn. But he started the whole thing, right? I mean, he and some other individuals did it, but he started the whole thing. So, what I'm saying is, I guess, give yourself a break. If you're like a nervous Nelly about, I don't know, I don't want to say that I don't know anything, or I don't want to say like, come off as dumb or whatever when you're interviewing, because you don't want to be wrong. It's like analysis paralysis. I want to analyze everything I say before I say it because I want to make sure it's right. They don't care. They really don't. I mean, they're going to make mistakes. They know you make mistakes. That means you're human, right? Another thing not to do is not to cave in when they offer you money, and because you don't want to be too desperate, right? You don't want to be like begging for the job, basically. You want to know when you go in what you're going to earn, what you want to earn, basically, right? And you want to know, okay, I'm valuable to this company. Don't beg for the job, basically. Don't do that. Don't not I mean, you're not going to beg for it, right? But don't come off as like, oh, I need this job so bad, basically. And like I said, the more interviews you go on, the less you're going to have to worry about that, because you won't have to worry about, oh, I need a job immediately, and then you're going to take whatever job comes to you, right? But if you constantly interview for a job, for whatever job it is, you're always refreshing your skills, always keeping them up to date on whatever the marketplace says, and like I said, interviews give you a chance to understand what the marketplace wants. What kind of skills do they need? Do they want you to know NetApp? Do they want EMC, quantum, whatever type of storage, basically? So those are just some, kind of like interview strategies, or interview, you know, well, they are interview and job search strategies that work, and they do work. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for listening to this podcast, and have yourself a great day.